Hey, what's up everyone, it's Green Zero back here again, bringing you another Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath VOD. Let's jump straight into our game today. And look at it, SteveNash 13 versus ImTIBIS here. So SteveNash was in the last VOD under a different Smurf, and he's in this one here too against ImTIBIS, who's a pretty solid GDI player. It is random v random, so I really want to see what Tibis has, because SteveNash is over here with the Scrin faction on the left hand side of Small Town USA, and yes, I say this a ton of times, very beautiful map. Anything goes on this map, and it looks like Tibis has drawn a Nod faction. We'll have to wait to see some scouts to see what he is. There's the barracks. Is he going to go for scouts first? No, obviously going for engineers, I think. There we go. He is Nod Vanilla. There, the militant squad's right there. Nod Vanilla versus a Scrin faction here by SteveNash. And just first of all, I must say that the replay system the last couple of weeks, oh man, what's going on? We've got another downturn of games here. There's just bugger all to watch. Like seriously, I've been going through and I'm just like, oh, there's so much junk on there. The games I've been looking at are really, really bad. And again, I say you can upload anything you want, but just spare a thought here for the quality of the games here, because I'm actually finding it really hard to VOD stuff. I've been watching a lot of replays and I'm just like, what's going on? I haven't seen a good one in about 2 weeks here. So anyway, this is why I'm back here with SteveNash's game, because he's always a pretty good player to watch. Let's see what happens on this match here. And what faction has he drawn? He's got Reaper 17, so I knew it was a Scrin faction, obviously. But the Shielded Harvester gives it away. They're very difficult to kill, those things, because of the shields. It lets them absorb a couple more rocket hits, and it just gives units like Orcas problems, because they have to put another volley into it, and that's going to cost them a Harvester. Normally 4 Orcas could easily snipe 3 Harvesters, as long as the Orcas didn't get destroyed in the process. But with shielded Harvesters, they can only snipe 2 at a time. Again, that's if they're not getting shot down in the process. And it looks like ImTIBIS is sending out a Raider buggy down here. So he's going to be picking away at those shields there. Not going to do too much, obviously. He's just having a look around. Second ref down now by SteveNash. Those scouts running across the tip field, Tibis. You really didn't need to send those guys in. You got the Raider buggy in there. What he should have done is put these guys on hold fire. They're actually going to die in the Tiberian field. Oh, Tibis. He could have easily taken the garrison or left them up here on hold ground stance, and they could have been secondary scouting. Easy peasy. But unfortunately, they're gonna stand in the Tib, and that is going to kill them, because Tiberium is very bad for your health, ladies and gentlemen. And that Buzzer Swarm getting cut off there. Scouting, very critical. You still see people don't do it enough. But of course, these two players should be pretty. I mean, they should be good enough. I mean, SteveNash, he's made a name for himself the last couple of months, as he's kind of risen up and taken along a lot of good players, and he's very solid. He can adapt really well, so you got to watch out. He's smart. He's cunning. He knows how people like to play, and he'll adapt to their play style. And he really puts you in a lot of trouble. Tibis has left his Raider buggy there. He really doesn't need to lose that to Shard Walkers. And there you go, moving it away now. A little bit of inattention. Should have those hotkeyed, really, and keep them moving around. And it looks like, oh, bikes. Is that one bike? Just one bike. There's a Seeker and Shard Walkers out there. I'm not sure how many bikes he's going to go. It's actually gone dual War Factory Scorpions. This is going to be big trouble if the dev tanks come out, and here come the dev tanks. And SteveNash actually redeployed. I think Tibis thought he was expanding, so that's why he went for double War Factory. But SteveNash has just instantly redeployed. He put down a stasis chamber. He might be looking to use his support power for that. The Conyard from Tibis needs to deploy right now. There we go. And it looks like these units are going to make their escape down here, reverse moving. Those Scorpion tanks, not sure how well they're going to fare against this. I mean, once too many devs come out, they're going to charge up. They're going to be very powerful. That dev tank not charged up yet. Looks like he's going to put out some Disintegrator squads as well. And Disintegrator, what do you call it? Disintegrator Devourer combo. I mean, Scorpion tanks, what are they supposed to do against that? Nothing. They're just supposed to die. And it looks like Tibis now taking his expansion. That was a little bit delayed as well. Obviously being forced to deploy there. What's he going to plant down? He's going to plant down a barracks. SteveNash has full knowledge of what's going on over here. And ImTIBIS there. Let's see if he has any scouts in the base. Oh, look at that, a gravity stabilizer. SteveNash is doing a little bit of everything here. He's got the portal down just in case. He's got the dev tanks coming out. He's got the tier 1.5 and the tier 2. And he's got a little bit of everything, really, and I think he needs to really concentrate his force a bit more. This dev tank is going to get overwhelmed. He's being forced to use his Storm Riders now, and of course he's using them on units. Tibis doesn't have much to really counter those, but at least they're not going to be sprung on his Harvesters when he's got like 4 of them. And that dev tank, it's not charged up. SteveNash, where are you charged devs? That dev tank isn't charged up either, only one charged up dev tank. And there you go, there's the portal just for the emergency Disintegrators to push those guys back, and all of a sudden he hasn't got anything to counter these Storm Riders. Is he going to build bikes? I hope he doesn't build bikes, to be honest, because they're not going to stand up on this map, especially against the powerful Reaper units. They're not going to have much other purpose other than trying to kill Storm Riders. And Storm Riders, of course, can destroy the bikes very quickly as well. He's going to need a harder anti-air counter, and he's going for some buggies. He's going to need a lot of those because those Storm Riders are like flying tanks. They're going to take a lot to kill, and a lot of those Scorpion tanks going on. I'm not sure why there isn't a double A turret coming up. There is no... Oh, look, Tibis' Conyard has some serious damage. SteveNash could be killing the Harvester instead, though. And here come the Dev tanks and the Disintegrator squads, and there's the Stasis. Stasising out half those units, but he's not attacking. He's attacking now. Really, when you use the Stasis, you want to go in and attack, because he's just isolated all those units. Those Dev tanks now, only one of them charged again. That's going to cause problems. And this is the thing, when he reverse moves, he keeps a lot of the tanks at the back out of the range of his tanks, but he can shoot and reverse move, and it's just so powerful. And here we go. Tibis has cleaned up his field. He's got an expansion down. SteveNash now changing targets here. But what's going on over here? He's got the gravity stabilizer. He has he set up? He's moved his drone platform very, very far over there. I'm not sure about that. And calling in their emergency repair drones there. That's a nice move. Again, not a lot of charge on these devs. Pretty much nothing. That one's got a tiny bit of juice on it. But ImTIBIS is in a lot of trouble. I can see a buzzer swarm getting called in, or maybe not. There's a bit too many buggies here. Is he going to be able to take this? There's a lot of units here from Tibis, and he's probably going to be able to push these guys back. But he doesn't get any dev tanks. Some of the Storm Riders being destroyed there. And that's good. Oh, that's good. All those dev tanks getting away. They're just too powerful there. And Tibis is going to have to pull back now. All the Storm Riders, looks like they're all dead. What's happening down here? Looks like Tibis did lose a Harvester, but the rest of his Harvesters are coming in now. He's going to lose another one, unless that was the one they were firing at to begin with. And what are you doing, Tibis? You got to go down there and defend yourself. Looks like he might be just going to counter-attack here. I don't know about this. These dev tanks are coming through the middle. Oh, he really needs to either destroy SteveNash's expansion, like right now, so he's going to lose this. He could either defend this expansion, split his forces up, or go all in and kill SteveNash's expansion. He's going to go all in and kill SteveNash's expansion. But these dev tanks, really, they're still so powerful. They need to charge up. They've got decent health here. If they were charged, they'd be a lot more deadly. But these infantry are going to be hard to kill, and it looks like he's going to lose his warp chasm here. SteveNash not getting a lot of income. He's only got one ref down. And there's the portal trying to block the warp sphere, but it's not going to work. The portal is going to be destroyed. These dev tanks sniping units from behind, and Tibis all of a sudden having to turn around. And he is going to get one of those dev tanks. A second dev tank in danger. There we go. It goes down now. Tibis might be able to clean this up now. So what an interesting game. No one at their tech yet. And Tibis still has not cleaned these units up in this base down here. He's had to pull all his Harvesters back. He's not getting really any money at all. Once these units, if these units get worn down, he's dead. He really has no economy to fall back on. SteveNash did manage to save his expansion despite losing the warp chasm. He's only got one ref, we can see on the radar, but finally he's going to overwhelm these dev tanks. And oh man, they caused so much damage. They were used pretty well, especially with the combination of the repair drone support power. That was nice. In between the buildings, just blocking it up there. And it's going to be very hard for Tibis to do anything about that. If he garrisoned the structures, maybe he'd be alright. He'd be vulnerable to a buzzer swarm, but that would only be a one-time ability. And then the rockets would be able to fend that off. Yeah, but I think Tibis needed to push them back, get into the structures, and push him back through the city, and then head over here. It looks like SteveNash, he still doesn't have a second refinery. He's got two Storm Riders out. I'm not sure that's a good idea, because Tibis still has a lot of buggies and some rockets here. And his base he's finally fended off those units, or did they just leave by themselves? They may have left by themselves. But they're over here. I'm pretty sure those units there are it, because there's two veteran ones there. And it looks like, so SteveNash actually leaving the base, they're deciding to pull those units back, and that buzzer hive there is good as dead. And these buggies now, some of them are ranked up pretty high. There's two elite ones there. If they go heroic, they'll be pretty hard to kill. I mean, they can already tank a lot of rocket damage. I'm not sure how well they're going to fare against these shard walkers, but Tibis is pulling back now. So all of a sudden this game just, I can't believe they both got their expansions. I was so sure someone's going to lose their expansion then. And Tibis has got dual ref, and SteveNash has got dual ref. This game's going to keep going. They both have a proper eco. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 5 and 2 for SteveNash, and Tibis has 5 and 2 as well. Oh man, that Harvest didn't quite get a full load. He's going to make sure he fixes that. So yeah, and they've still got units. SteveNash has a small force of shards and a 1 Seeker tank here, and Tibis has some tanks, and he's got some infantry. It'll be interesting to see what they do now. If SteveNash can attack somehow, he's got some more dev tanks out. More dev tanks pushing up here. Obviously not going for his tech, I don't think. He's got a couple of Storm Riders flying around. I think Tibis could push these shards back for sure. Did he get repairs on those? Yes, those elite buggies both have repairs. So if he gets two of those heroic, they're going to be very hard to kill, because like I said, they can tank a lot of damage. They're only $500, and they're a unit which people use to absorb rocket blasts. If obviously you didn't really know that. You should kind of know that, to be honest. That Harvester, SteveNash appears to be microing it away. He obviously wanted it in, and he's like, oh, that's bad, so I better just keep it going. and it's going to wander over there, but it's not going to do anything. SteveNash could, yes, he may actually escape, and ImTIBIS is going to let that one go. That's a free harvester kill. He's going for his infantry upgrades, and it looks like Dev Tanks, Shard Walkers, and Seeger Tanks, and this is going to be bad for ImTIBIS. This is powerful. Oh man, Reaper 17, once they get their bulldozing going, they're very hard to stop, and I don't think Nod Vanilla at their tier, he's at tier 1, don't forget. He's at tier 1.5 if you count his Secret Shrine there, but yeah, he's in all sorts of trouble. I don't think these units can tank that. The Scorpion tanks are getting wasted. He's not really causing any damage to this force. He may be able to snipe down one of the Dev Tanks. No, he's not even going to get that. Maybe he just gets it. Wouldn't be surprised if one of those heroic buggies, or not heroic buggies, elite buggies would have got that kill, but they're still alive. ImTIBIS, and there's a support power calling in the repair drones. Oh man, ImTIBIS, he should just leave. Oh man, he's losing his elite buggies. Keep calling heroic. Not heroic yet. There is an attack going on down here. It looks like Dev Tanks versus infantry, not the best. But I think ImTIBIS, I think he needed a retreat. He clearly could not defend this base. He could have sold it all off, pulled his army down here and blocked up this channel. Has he got a tech center? He kind of needs one, doesn't he? And there's the buzzer support power. How many infantry is going to kill? It's going to get through most of the rockets there. Can ImTIBIS stop it? The Cabals on the front of the squads may be able to finish them off now, but they killed a lot of infantry, and there's a heroic one there. There is a heroic, and it finally goes down, but that killed a lot of infantry. SteveNash's attack has been routed. There's only one Seeger tank left, and ImTIBIS is going to lose all his power here. Selling off, that's a good idea. And ImTIBIS has been defeated. ImTIBIS surrendered. Oh man, what did you do that for, ImTIBIS? You had full economy. I mean, surely you could have just tried to fight there. I'm not sure about that. What do you guys think about that? ImTIBIS had full economy down there in the bottom. He didn't have a lot of units, but I'm pretty sure he could have defended that next attack out. If SteveNash was to push, SteveNash didn't quite have as much as ImTIBIS thought, but ImTIBIS really threw it in there. Resources, you can see SteveNash is significantly ahead there, so maybe ImTIBIS didn't want to go through the slow and painful defeat, but it wasn't over, in my opinion. ImTIBIS, of course, he can't see through the fog. He was like, oh no, he's got a massive army or something like that, so scouting obviously would have come into favour there. So I think I'm going to publish that one because it was very nice, even though it ended very lacklustery. I think ImTIBIS, bad ImTIBIS, don't just give up like that. He could have kept fighting. He still had economy. He could have got some emp down somehow. Actually, no, he's not mocked, so he couldn't have got some emp down. But you can see units up and down there. Obviously, SteveNash had less because he's Reaper 17. ImTIBIS had more. ImTIBIS, big climb of units here, but he really just went downwards here for about 2.5 minutes. He was going down and down and down, while SteveNash was remaining pretty steady. And then, of course, he lost that fight at his main base. I'm pretty sure he should have retreated. If he retreated from that, he would have definitely kept playing because he would have had units. But he really didn't cause any damage to SteveNash's attack. And all he would have lost is a war factory and a few power plants. So he could have retreated out of there and he would have been fine. But, of course, he decided to stay. And that's going to be how it is anyway. Up until the 6-minute mark, both sides are pretty even on economy. You can see SteveNash having one ref at his expansion, not being harassed. Just managed to pull away. ImTIBIS was staying on par about here. He kind of fixed it at the 8-minute mark, but there was a slight pull away here from SteveNash, obviously having a few more harvesters there. But anyway, that was a really good fight. Again, right up until ImTIBIS decided he was just going to bail on that one. 11 minutes, 1 second. So 88,827 to SteveNash, $66,508 to ImTIBIS. That's what do you call it? That's 22. Oh man, that's 23,000. That's a significant amount more considering the game, and he went for 11 minutes. That was a very significant amount. Not huge, but significant. But still, I think ImTIBIS could have definitely afforded on there. Anyway, that was a good game. Good maneuvering by both players. I hope you all enjoyed this VOD, and I'll see you all next time.